Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Talk to me about the Timbaland launching the AI artist Tata. This is so sick. I've been obsessed with these kind of like Lil Miquela. I don't know if you've ever seen her on Instagram. She's this AI generated influencer, but they ended
She's
up
like the
like
OG one, right?
she's like the OG one. It's really fascinating to see this. I feel like it's starting to evolve way faster now. Of course, the label is going to start releasing these, but I'm curious to hear what you're seeing and your thoughts around it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Timbaland fan. I remember in high school and middle school dances, that's what was played on all his
Totally.
Leah produced Justin Timberlake and a slew of artists. Missy Elliott, of course, is number one collaborator. I have such fond memories of Timbaland songs, so I'm a huge fan. But I think it's an incredible iteration of someone who probably has no need to even dabble in this stuff and can probably hang out on an island somewhere. But he created a AI entertainment company and record label called Stage Zero, where his plan is to do both human and AI artists. The first one he dropped is an AI generated artist, Tata, worth a Google, but she is a 100% AI generated artist, Asian with pink hair and a face tat, because you cannot be an artist nowadays without a face tat.
Got it.
You're just not going to make it. But yeah, that's what he created. No music has been released by her yet, but I think it's a really incredible use of AI, and kudos for Timbaland to almost reinvent himself as a producer, as a hit maker, as an artist himself with this completely new iteration. I think it's awesome. I think there will be some disruption. We've seen like CGI or whatever you call hologram Tupac at like Coachella and like I forgot which other artist. What difference does it make if now you have AI generated Tata rocking, the Coachella main stage and it's just a hologram of her? To me, it's 100% no difference. Record labels don't have to deal with any bad PR, don't have to deal with negotiating with lawyers. They just need a amazing producer and someone who's really good with the new AI tools, and we could see a whole new genre of music and artists.
I think what's crazy too is they live on in perpetuity with how streaming revenues function. The artists typically only make money when they're on tour. If you got to a scale where you have enough artists dropping enough new tracks, it's
Yeah.
kind of the formula that somebody like Future has done, releasing new music constantly. And one out of 100 of them pop and turn into a billion streams, and that pays for the rest. I feel like there's some angle in this as well. Like the velocity that you can move at is so much
Yeah.
higher. So
I agree. I'm a huge fan. My kids listen to his music. I appreciate the art more than what the music actually is. NBA
totally.
Youngboy, he makes 10 to 15 songs a day.
That's crazy. That's
He'll
crazy.
record him
Yeah.
in his car. He'll make them whatever. He's just constantly making. He puts it all on YouTube. I think it's like one of his biggest revenue drivers. And you're right. Like, what stops someone from doing this at scale with AI generated content? The bad part is, though, I think there was a lesser music streaming platform, Deezer, said that 70% of the streams for AI generated content are actually just bots. And there was a
Mm.
huge, someone used, oh, I forgot the name of the generator, but created a bunch of fake artists, tens of thousands of songs, and bots to do the actual listens, and the payout was close to $10 million. So there's good and bad. If someone's doing it the right way, like Timberland probably is, I think it's awesome, but also downside for it too, like exactly how you're describing it.
I think you have to create the lore and the story behind it. I think that's the only way to make this work. Like looking at Michaela, they had a group of artificial friends that exist only on
Yeah.
the internet, but they would create drama between them. And that drama would fuel conversation about them and get people bought into the world almost like it was a fantasy, right? Like, or Real Housewives or whatever, right? And so I think if they can come to the market with some type of angle like that, it's going to be super successful. I'm curious on the AI detection side, like what type of tools are they using? Do you see this? I imagine this naturally really quickly evolves into they're sourcing, the voice or cloning voices of famous artists. Is there anything that's happened here yet, or do you imagine it goes in that direction?
Yeah, I think the dangers are exactly what you said, cloning of real people and marketing that music as such. We declared, hey, this is generated to prove a point. You can recreate any artist's voice that you want. And we actually create like this version of a Kanye West song, and it was awesome. But if you're marketing it, and there are YouTube channels, like one I always point out, Kamikaze Music, I think is the name, they are just spewing AI generated versions of artists and getting sometimes millions of streams. And I think that's not right, both from, like you said, this is an artist's livelihood and it's their brand and you're deceiving people. So I think there is where it really matters. We have seen people curious, like I heard some song on TikTok or whatever. It's like, is that really the artist? And they have checked it, and record labels as well.
It's crazy. I'm gonna look up Kamikaze.
I
I'm
don't
looking at
mean
one of
to
the
shout
videos.
out a spam page, but like
No,
that's
totally. It's just wild. I'm looking at this, and one of these is like an Eminem Post Malone collab that has 12
exactly.
million views, right? Like
Oh,
that's insane.
that's insane.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, maybe we transition on to the next topic. So, use of ChatGPT students makes you dumber. MIT study. Or sorry, I skipped over one on. Let's go back. My
Don't
apologies.
worry, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. AI generated unhinged NBA finals that made for 2K. Talk to me about that. What happened?
It's worth the watch. It's 30 seconds, but it's flashy. Each scene is like 3 to 5 seconds. It's absurd activity. Someone wrestling an alligator in the swamp, a woman riding a jet ski through a flooded city, some shirtless man streaking across the NBA Finals court. All the flashing, crazy imagery felt five to back TikToks, short form videos trying to rehook and catch attention. I can't believe it was approved to be aired on NBC on national broadcast. The amazing part is the person who made it said it cost $2,000 to make an NBA Finals advertisement, and it took him 2 days to do. So when you think about the reach that this video has gotten, aired on NBC for $2,000 instead of trying to create a CGI version of someone fighting an alligator or on a jet ski through a flooded city, the cost insane versus $2,000, some voiceovers, and you're off to the races with an ad airing on the NBA Finals.
That's crazy. I feel like it's starting to seep into more traditional media. I have friends that have been running this playbook for the last 2 years where it's like, we're just going to make as many, AI generated variations of things and throw them out into the wild, right? And make them almost as ridiculous and wild as we can using these AI video generators. But it feels like it's now starting to hit TV, these more traditional mediums. So it's fascinating to see it happen. Um,
Yeah, when you think about an NBA Finals ad, you think of some car elegantly through some winding road or something,
totally.
not just flashing lights and alligators and a sorority screaming at the top of their lungs like every 3 seconds in this crazy format. So, yeah, completely different, and maybe, who knows, maybe the future.
Have they released how they're creating, or were they just using Google VO3 for it?
We have been using it too, playing with it. It does take a few prompts to get the
Yep,
quality, which is probably why it costs him $2,000 to generate 30 seconds. It would take 4 shots, like $15. It definitely took iterations that he's sharing,
totally.
but still, in comparison to like
Versus the
someone
real
sitting there
cost.
or a group sitting
Yeah, it's
there
just gonna plummet. No,
prompting versus you're on set with someone on a jet ski.
that's amazing. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. Talk to me about the ChatGPT making students dumber. I feel like this relates to our topic we had previously with China disallowing chatbots during finals week or like, anything in relation to it. What did the MIT data show?
Yeah, I don't think any of this is going to come as a surprise. I believe it was the UCLA college graduation, and a student who I'm sure already had his diploma in hand pulled out his computer and showed his paper being written on ChatGPT, and they quickly zoomed out of it. He was like, "Yeah, let's go, ChatGPT." Like, did my final thesis, and MIT ran a study. It actually showed that students who are using ChatGPT showed the lowest level of brain activity to things like creativity, memory, any kind of thinking. In fact, when they published whatever ChatGPT wrote, they forgot about it 10 minutes later. So it's literally like copy and paste. They actually compared it to Google search as well. And they're lower levels of all of those things, but nowhere near as low as GPT gets, where you're essentially just outsourcing all your thinking. And not surprisingly, someone pen and paper without any digital tools showed the highest level of creativity, reasoning, critical thinking, and memory over what they actually wrote. And I think it is a dangerous game. Again, we use AI, but we think for ourselves. We have a direction we want to go. But if students from the jump are using these tools as a crux, I think there will be a lot of skill, critical thinking atrophy. It's like a muscle, use it or lose it. And I think it's the same thing with our brain. If we outsource all of that to LLMs, to chatbots, I think we're in for a really rough patch of generations if this is what they're leaning on. So, an MIT study did the comparison of ChatGPT versus Google search versus just the old fashioned way.
It's fascinating. I have some cousins that are in college currently, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't even know why I'm here. Everything that we do is basically augmented in some way by ChatGPT." And they're not forcing us to like the curriculum isn't built for this technology whatsoever. It's not enabling it. They're not working in tandem or like in sidestep to use these tools to further themselves. It's just to check a box, which feels I don't know. I know they're having internal conversations of what is the point of this? Why am I paying for this?
Yeah. I don't blame your cousin at all. I would have done the same thing because we're so driven by the results
Yep.
in school or grades, whether you're in high school or college or whatever the case. We're always entrance exams, some tests, some grades to get that next thing, that job. When I went to grad school, like the first day of class, they're like, our policy at school is we do not put our GPA on our resumes. That's the unofficial policy. And I think it almost will take something like that to remove the result from education. Then like what's the point of ChatGPT? I'm just here to learn, and like for the purity of it, like for
Yep.
myself. And I think that's what it'll take. Or else, yeah, if yeah, you have to write a book report and you didn't read some 600-page book and it's due in 16 hours, I
Of course I'm going
completely
to. Of course.
understand. But if you remove that, I don't know if it's a binary thing or like the grades system, and maybe not at all levels, but at certain levels, then you're just in it for the love of the game. And like in grad school, like you're just here to actually learn, and we remove that grading aspect. So you're competing, but you're not like when you go out there for interviews and things like that. And that's what it'll take, or else the motivations that students have had at all levels, ChatGPT is 100% will help you with those things. But then at the same time you come out, it's like, what did you actually learn? Maybe a prompt engineer, but what did you actually learn about the topics?
I feel like they're going to have to enable them to create things. That's going to be the only way. The final outcome is what matters. The process of getting there is less important now. I don't know though. Do you need to intrinsically understand engineering? Probably at some capacity if you want to be really good, but it's above my pay grade. So anyway.
I hear you. Being an AI and knowing how powerful these tools are, I have kids. We bought them all physical notebooks for the summer. Like we like physical notebooks. Like we have all the stuff like online. We're like, nope, no more computers. Like while you're home, like you're actually just gonna
Yep.
sit there and like pen and paper, pencil and paper for math and learning. I have no idea what happens on a computer anymore. And like, my oldest very well aware they've used it in school. And I was like, nope, pen and paper and a notebook. And this is like, you have to learn some basics before you get multiplied, or else you are just outsourcing the human role of thinking to AI.
Talk to me about the Diddy AI trial videos. These are absolutely unhinged. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird sentence to even say, but there's videos, and they're like 30 minutes of Diddy trial videos, and they're AI videos showing Diddy in court, showing testimonies. I think it's an awesome idea because they take the transcript of what actually happened in court and the policies for courtrooms. You can't take pictures, there's no video, so you
Yeah.
always see those sketches. They take that and create AI generated versions with the testimonies and with what the lawyers are saying and the witnesses are saying every single time, and creates like this really engaging, almost like real life Law and Order.
Like something you'd watch on like cable TV.
For sure. And they're putting up crazy views. Like some of them are like 200,000 views.
Crazy.
But who's going to read the transcript of the Diddy trial unless you're a huge, Bad Boys fan? I think it's actually a really, really cool use. But yeah, who knows? I mean, you're also taking someone's likeliness. In this case, Diddy, though I don't know what his rights are at this point, especially with his
Yeah.
likeliness. But you are doing that and creating that, and it's not actually real, but the things being said are 100% real. And yeah, it's like in real time Law and Order episode from what's actually happening in court. And super weird sentence to say, like Diddy AI trial videos, but that's definitely what's happening.
That's what's happening for sure. Awesome. And then last one, MidJourney video launches. I feel like I've been seeing these everywhere. What's your take? And what have you guys seen from your expertise?
Yeah, I think MidJourney is the number one image generator in the world. I think what they do is incredible, both from creativity, art, and realism. I still believe they're second to none. So I think it's really exciting what they've done, but there are some differences. MidJourney has some really great safeguards in place where you can't create real people, you can't create politicians. If you've tried, it won't let you do it. However, for MidJourney video, you could upload an image of a very real person and it will animate it for you. It's not just on MidJourney images. You can animate whatever video or image that you have. We've tried both examples of MidJourney generated ones as well as ones from their universe. I do think it's definitely wars of AI video generation this year. 2023 is probably like the text wars, 2024 the audio wars of all the audio and music generators and voice generators. I think this is the year of video. It's a natural progression, text to image to audio, and now video combines all the modalities. It's actually the same exact order that we went for our AI detection systems. Once we had the
Interesting.
expertise in visual, and then we had the expertise in audio. It's like, okay, cool. Now it makes sense to do video. So I think it's exactly what's happening in the AI world. And MidJourneys is amazing, though the same safeguards that are in place for image generation can have a workaround by using images not created with their video product.
Here's a just video.
Just video.
Google Veo 3 where it's like, yeah, it's not synced with lips, etc.
Exactly. The difference is Google Veo 3, you cannot base it off an image. Google Veo 2, you could, but it's nowhere near as realistic. That's why no one cares about it. Veo
Yeah.
3, it's right within that universe. You have to base it right there. The difference is like MidJourney, and there's other pretty good video generators too, like Higgsfield, where you can do it off a base image. VO3 is incredible, but it's all encompassing. It all has to be there. While MidJourney can do that, but you can also bring in content from elsewhere and it'll let you run with it.
No, that makes sense. Awesome. I think this is great. And then we'll chop this up and turn it into the next one. So
Cool.
perfect.
Cool. All right.